a tough economic climate right now. The new trade policies are creating a lot of anxiety for both businesses and customers. And this uncertainty is changing the way that people buy. People are taking longer to make decisions. They are very price sensitive, and they're going through the contracts and the proposals with a fine-tooth comb. And so as a business, unless you are crystal clear on why your brand is different and why customers should choose you, then unfortunately you're getting overlooked. And this is probably the reason why you're getting ghosted after you send quotes. This might be the reason why your deals are stalling. And it's probably the reason why you're seeing a steady decline in business over the past couple of months. It's because you're not standing out. You're blending in. And in this economic climate, it has never been more critical for you to stand out in a way that your customers feel safe choosing your brand. But then here's the thing. A lot of businesses think that they have a solid differentiator, but then the things that they're claiming as differentiators don't hold water anymore, not in this economy. And why is that? It's because the things that used to be differentiators are no longer special anymore. They're expectations. So let me give you an example. I was talking to a CEO and he was telling me that our company is different because we use our expertise and we educate the customer every step of the way. But here's the hard truth. Providing expertise and education to your customers is no longer a differentiator. Today, that is a basic service expectation. And so if this is what they're claiming in their proposals and in their quotes, that's the reason why they're not performing. And so today, let's unpack two things. Number one, the things that you might be considering differentiators that your customers are not even blinking at. And that could be the reason why they're not responding to your proposals and to your quotes. And then number two, what a true stand out from the crowd differentiator actually looks like. Hi, my name is Angie Mina and I'm a marketing consultant. I help businesses in the construction industry stand out from the crowd, sell more, and actually grow sustainably and profitably. Let's talk about the false differentiators, things that you might be claiming that your customers do not consider as differentiators. And we'll start with the biggest offenders that I hear all the time. And number one on that list is great customer service. We provide great customer service and our customers love us. That is amazing. But unfortunately, that is not a differentiator. Unless you are providing an actual tangible outcome that is different and that you're delivering that through your customer service, then your customers really don't care. And in fact, they expect great customer service as part of the package. So rather than saying we provide great customer service, what quantifiable or measurable outcome can you claim? So for example, we guarantee that your call will be answered by a live operator 24/7, or you get a $50 credit. That is quantifiable. It is not easily copyable, and it is something that actually has your customer stopping in their tracks and going, oh, that's different. Another one that I hear all the time is that we've been in business for 40 years, or we've been in business since 1987. That is fantastic. However, longevity in the market is not a differentiator unless you're using that expertise to provide a better or a different outcome from what your competitors that just entered the market are claiming. So for example, if you say something like, in our 40 years of business, we have poured over 500 bridges without a single warranty claim. Now that is something that is tangible, it is measurable, and it's something that you will definitely stand out from what other people in the business are claiming, which is based on your expertise. And another classic false differentiator is we have superior quality or unmatched craftsmanship. Again, just using a broad statement like that just signals to the customer that you're just like everyone else. There's nothing that you're saying to them that makes them stop in their tracks. Quality is an expectation. It's not a differentiator. You can quantify what you mean by superior quality because there are some companies and some businesses that are objectively superior. But unless you're expressing that in a way that the customer is going to look at it and go, that is quantifiably different, then it doesn't really matter. For example, I purchased a knife once and it came with a lifetime guarantee. If anything happened to the blade, if it cracked, if it got dull, whatever happened to it, they promised me this blade is such good quality that we have given you a lifetime guarantee. It can be replaced anytime over the life of this item. That is something that stands out. That is something that signals to the customer that your brand is trustworthy, that your brand stands by the quality of the product that it makes. All right, so now let's talk about what a true standout from the crowd, stop the customer in their tracks differentiator looks like. And I'm gonna go through these in 3 separate categories. So the first category will be experience-based differentiators, and I'm going to explain what that means. Meaning-based differentiator and perception-based differentiators. So let's talk about experience-based differentiators. And this might be what is in some businesses' minds when they say we offer great customer service. When we talk about experience-based differentiators, it means that you might be selling the exact same product that your competitor is selling, but there is a very different experience that your customer goes through when they buy from you that they will not find anywhere else. An experience could mean different things. It could mean the actual experience of talking to people in the outlet store, making the purchase on the website. It could mean that. It could also mean the way that the product is delivered, the timelines, how fast or how slow it's delivered, the accuracy of the product, the ease of communication with your brand, with your customer service, with technicians at your company, and things like that. And so some examples that you may have seen out there is companies that guarantee delivery timelines. They will say something like, we guarantee on time, on schedule delivery, or it's free. There are also companies that guarantee the accuracy of the product that they are selling. And so with these types of differentiators, the customer is buying a product, but on top of that, they're also buying into the predictability and the reliability of this brand. They expect no surprises, they expect no stress, and no guesswork. They can be assured that their project will be on time and on schedule because they're buying from a brand that has guaranteed certain things. And for general contractors, for example, that is a tangible outcome. That is something that means way more than anything else that your competitors could be claiming. Another example I can think of that I have actually used is Domino's pinpoint delivery. So what they guarantee is that they will deliver your pizza just about anywhere. If you can pinpoint where you are in their map, then they will deliver your pizza there. It can be in a parking lot, at the bus stop, at the beach, at a festival, wherever it is that you are, and you can get on their app and pinpoint that location, they will deliver your pizza. That stands out. That is completely different from what other pizza shops are offering. And that is a reason a lot of people will choose Domino's Pizza over other pizza shops. And that is experience-based differentiators. You're selling something that a lot of other companies could be selling, but the experience that you give your customer is one that is, number one, tangible, it is measurable, and it means something to them. It is a benefit that they can appreciate and that they will choose you over other businesses and other providers because of that experience. Okay, number 2 is meaning-based differentiation. And this is where you lead with a cause, a belief, or company values that your customer will connect with emotionally. And this one is very powerful because it builds loyalty and advocacy. Not only will your customers want to buy from your brand and your brand only, they will recruit other people to come and buy from you. And this one has become very popular in the past few years because people are very conscious these days about the companies that they choose to do business with. What do these companies stand for? What are they doing about climate change? What are they doing about social justice? How do they treat their workers? Where do they source their raw materials from? Are they engaging in ethical sourcing? Are they paying people a livable wage? And are they supporting systems of oppression or systems of slavery? These are things that people are very conscious about. And the brands that have actually stood for a cause or a value or a belief and actually put that in their marketing and stated that here is why we exist, because we support this cause, or because we make sure that we source our raw materials ethically. We make sure that we're paying our employees a livable wage. There's also brands that donate a portion of their profits towards certain causes and certain nonprofit organizations and certain charities. And they will use that as part of their identity because that makes them stand out. And for the people that really care about these causes, they're not going to be looking at any other competitors because they want to be a part of that. They want to join that community and they want to belong to a society of people that care about certain causes and about certain things that are going on either in the environment. For them, it's not just a purchase. It is not just a product. It is a product that comes with meaning. Even when they're price sensitive, they're still conscious about who they're doing business with. One great example that comes to mind is Patagonia, the company that makes outdoor clothing. This company is very, very vocal about environmental activism and climate change issues. So much so that in 2022, the founder announced that he will be giving away the whole company to a nonprofit organization that will continue to fight climate change even after he's gone. Now that's differentiation. That is standing for a cause and putting action behind it and really signaling to your customers that this is who we are. And so the people that buy from that brand do not want to buy from anyone else. All right, let's move on to perception-based differentiators. And this is my personal favorite. Sometimes you are in a business where you are selling the exact same thing as your competitors. There is just no way around it, especially when we're talking about either heavily regulated industries where there's really not much you can do to change the product. If you're selling cement or concrete or steel for building, there's certain things that you just cannot change about the product, and you just have to be in this market where you're selling the exact same thing. And so in this case, without changing the product, you can still stand out from your competition using perception-based differentiators. Because in this case, you're not changing your product, but you're changing the way that the customers view the product. You're changing their frame of reference. And you can do this in different ways, and I'm going to give you some examples just so you can understand how this works. So, for example, Honey Nut Cheerios. They market Honey Nut Cheerios as a food that helps to lower cholesterol, and so because of that, it is a heart-healthy food. And technically, all whole grain oats, all of the other brands that you see in the cereal aisle, they have the exact same benefit. They help to lower cholesterol, so are also good for your heart. But because Honey Nut Cheerios claimed it first, they put themselves in a different category. So the consumer is no longer just looking at them as breakfast food. They're looking at Honey Nut Cheerios as a different product, as a breakfast that is healthy and that is for people that are conscious about their heart health and lowering their cholesterol. And so in that scenario, the customer is no longer doing a direct comparison. They're looking at, should I buy oat cereal or should I buy Honey Nut Cheerios? Because that's a different category. That's how you stand out using perception-based differentiators. They have moved the frame of reference from I'm looking for breakfast food to I'm looking for healthy options for for breakfast food. Another company that did something similar is Starbucks. Starbucks does not claim to sell superior coffee. They sell coffee, and coffee is available everywhere. But the one thing that Starbucks did is that they shifted the frame of reference from just buying a cup of coffee to a place to meet, a place to hang out. They got free Wi-Fi. You can sit with your friends as long as you like. You don't even have to buy anything. And so by creating this third place between work and home, they shifted our perception of the cup of coffee. Now it's not just a cup of coffee, but it's a cup of coffee at Starbucks. And that is a clear differentiator. And in fact, they created a whole new idea of meet at Starbucks. I know that a lot of people that are buying things from online marketplaces meet at Starbucks. That's just a thing. And so when we're thinking about perception-based differentiators, it means looking at the product and then trying to shift the perspective of the buyer from what they're actually buying to something that has a bigger benefit. You're still buying the same cup of coffee, but there's a bigger benefit attached to it. You're still buying the same cereal, which is identical to other cereal in the cereal aisle, but there is a bigger benefit associated with it. So having known these three categories and the examples that I gave you, here's what you can do. You want to, number one, talk to your customers. The most important aspect of the differentiator is that it has to mean something to your customer. It has to be important to them, important enough to where it stands out and they go, this is the person that I want to do business with. This is the obvious choice for me. So if you're claiming something like we talked about earlier, great customer service, that doesn't mean anything to them. That's an expectation for them. And so don't go and sit with either your leadership team or people in your company and try to come up with a differentiator. What you want to do first is find out what means the most to your customers and then craft a differentiator around that. And then remember, it is not enough to just claim a differentiator. You have to be able to express it in such a way that when the customers see your marketing, when the customers see your messaging, they know immediately that this is who I want to pick and I am done comparing, I am done looking, I'm done shopping. This is the company that I want to go with. It is not enough to just be better. You have to be different. You have to stand out in a way that your customer cares about and in a way that they feel safe choosing your brand.